So we are starting with our hand weights, coming into finding your center. So good, strong attention to your alignment. Maybe you've got, 1 or 1.5 kilo hand weights, possibly even up to 2 kilos, just please don't strain. And as you stand in front of, hopefully, a good mirror or a reflection of yourself, level off those shoulders, gather them up so they shrug on your inhalation, and as you exhale, especially good to do this through the mouth, sigh away and let the shoulders melt down. So breathing in to squeeze and draw the scapulae up towards the ears, and then sighing, exhale away, and then maybe a few that are a little bit faster. You might notice a little elbow bend as you gather those arms and draw into your shrug, or you might be moving in individual joint actions, going from left to right, left to right. Okay, let's roll off. So we're going to start with a really good awareness in side bending. Make sure you are softening through those legs so you've got a good extended strength coming around that pelvis and into the ribs and the waist. And then beginning to side bend. So what you want to watch out for is that as you bend, so I'm bending to the right, so as you bend to the right and your right arm is being helped to the position with the weight, that you don't also lift that left shoulder. So letting that space come around the ears to the shoulders. It can feel simply like you are sliding against a wall. Your pace can move with coordinated breath, so exhaling, inhaling, exhaling. So the out breath is coordinating with the effort of sliding into that side bend, but connecting to center all the way through. Or if you wish, you can move at a faster pace. And what this does is, I think it does really create a little bit more connection to the toning of the center muscles. The back muscles are in a supportive role here. Of course, the back muscles are also moving the joints into your into that side bending, and you are targeting a little bit more these oblique side waist muscles. So do make sure that while you create a more dynamic action or stay with the breath coordinated moves, that you do breathe all the way through. So even if you're moving faster, you are breathing all the way. So we're going to bring the weights up onto the shoulders and just let them settle there. Again, drawing the scapulae down, just making sure that your pelvis is level, and then spiral into reasonably rapid rotations. Know, of course, that I do keep my face forward. I do not like spiraling the head and neck on this one. It makes me feel dizzy, but you can turn all the way. Yeah, you can turn more than me as you find it's easier for you. Important that the facial muscles and the jaw are also really, really relaxed. And then releasing the arms down, turn the knuckles forward. Just again, check in with the feet, make sure the legs aren't too rigid and locked out. So coming into classical bicep curls. Think about the fact that as you bring the arms to length, you are lengthening the muscles. So you don't necessarily want to come down and then add in extra pointless energy. You want to keep the focus on the upper arm engaging at the front of the muscle there under the bicep area, and also on the lengthening action. It's not that we're going to move back, but this is elongating the inner and outer triceps. So weights are by the thighs, chest is open, no need to back bend, and the pace, of course, can pick up. You can go faster as necessary. Bicep curls are usually relatively easy. They're quite a familiar arm weight movement. So this is sometimes one of those practices where a heavier weight might be really achievable for you. So keep squeezing and opening. Let the breath be mindful. If you have to rest, if you want to take a pause for any reason, then simply let the arms come down, have a breath in and out, and reset your frame. And then maybe you'll go, for a second set. So it's absolutely fine to pause, but do keep your attention beautifully engaged on your Pilates practice all the way through. So you may well have found it quite easy to have 20 reps there, or even more, but we're going to set the arms now into that L. So remember, you're keeping wrist in line with elbows, elbows in line with shoulders, creating that L shape. Feel long, tall, and spacious. And when you open the arms, just pause to feel the scapulae squeeze together. Sometimes I find with this movement that targets beautifully the strengthening of the area between the shoulder blades. I sometimes find that this one is helpful to move just a little bit moderate on pace, and to really sometimes pause to observe really clear and precise alignment, and not to over grip those weights or squeeze in or drop them, so finding that you open out and there is an even control of the opening and of the closing. And this is a movement that is very commonly used with a Pilates band. So if you're finding that this is exceptionally good for your upper back, and of course for that space coming across the chest, then you might want to practice this one later with one of those resistant bands. Now reach the arms away so that you can see the left and the right hand weight in your peripheral vision, and going into what's often just known as bicep curls too. So there is a connect between the armpit to the hip. Remember, you're not locking out the elbows. And you want to feel as much as possible that your arms are moving strongly, but that you are involving the whole body. So there's that sense of being able to observe feet centered, scapulae drawn down, a sense of calm, relax in the facial muscles. You are breathing, and maybe 10 reps there is absolutely fine. We're going to take the arms overhead now, touch the weights. They may want to come a little bit in front of the face like this. So be aware that if you're bringing them overhead, you are not necessarily hyperextending and coming into a back bend. Although for me, that does feel like quite a nice sort of stretching position. It feels quite good for the front body. So if you're using this one, come back to your center, find your center. And as I say, if the weights are a little bit in front of the forehead, that's also fine. So breath in, as you exhale, you come through the sort of cactus and then draw down into elbow slides or chicken wings. Try not to tilt your body back or forward. Try not to sway, keeping center. Inhale, exhale. Really prioritize the pulling down action as you draw around. So this is a great lifting energy for the shoulders and the pulling energy. Obviously, a moderation would be just to come to here, to be there with a softening and then pull apart. To come here overhead or in front and pull, and then this is a little bit more range, coming round into the elbow slides, feeling the scapulae move along with you. Try not to strain, and pausing in certain positions is good to just restore your breath and energy. Okay, we're going to release the arms with the palms facing up now. You may want to give yourself just a little shimmy, roll out the shoulders, and you might even want to give the legs a little shake out or walk in place, just easing out. Prepare for this final couple of moves today in arm weight series. Spread out the toes, center the body. Bringing the arms facing up, the palms face up into the laterals, and then exhale and drawing down towards your sides. Inhaling wide, even shape of the body, crown lengthening. Exhale, pull it back. Now, if your weights are quite light, you may be moving much faster. If they are super heavy or you're starting to feel a little bit straining, please don't give up. Just maybe move a little bit slower and come into single arm laterals. You know, always when we move into the laterals, it does feel powerful. Here is another example of where you want to be connected to strengthening muscles in your back. So it's as if the arms are moving clearly from your back body. This is how they open out, lifting out like eagle's wings. Inhaling, exhaling. Keeping that belly strong. And then give them a little turn. And keep going with laterals if you want to, but otherwise give your arms a turn. Rolling in and out in the low position, and then just some low circles. Now in the low circles, it can be really easy to start swaying with the momentum of those weights. So stay strong and steady, and then reverse direction, so going backwards and then forwards for maybe 6 or 8. Shrug and release again. I'm going to carry the weights down to the mat for the all fours balancing. So you will probably want to make sure that you have your mats there, you know, your folded blanket, sorry, so that you protect your knees. And of course the weights are not compulsory. So when you bring your knees down, I'm going to alter this position actually, just give a little bit more diagonal to this mat. So when you bring your body down to the mat, and the knees are down, place the weights carefully beside you, within reach if you're using them, and lengthen the hips towards the feet. So just enjoying a stretch of the spine. And the arms are in front because that again is promoting good shoulder flexion. So, you know, your arm is coming up towards the ear. But you may also find it comfortable to move into a yoga child's pose, lengthen the breastbone over the legs and bring the arms back so the fingertips are down by your feet and just resting the forehead. So just enjoying reconnection to relaxing cycles of breath in your child's pose or in your Pilates sort of shell stretch there. And then drive the body into strong all fours, pressing the hands below the shoulders. And then I'm going to pick up the weights in the left hand and reach the right leg back. Bring the inner thighs into strength, so try not to let that leg drift away. So that means also that your left hip, pelvis, whole connection through to the armpit is strong and resisting the earth in that right side. And then lengthen and lift the left arm. Now it may not come all the way towards your ear, long back neck, but you can notice what happens as you balance. Maybe bring the arm out to the side in a T shape. Take it down, bring it to the diagonal. Take it down and then reach it behind you. Couple more, maybe out to the side. Lift and lengthen forward. And then one reaching back. Yeah, but all the way through. The muscles of the core, of course, supporting the joints and the bones in your trunk. Come into kneeling or offer yourself another shell stretch. You might want to circle your wrists. Good to just let the arms come overhead and have kind of a uplifting release of the body, side to side opening. And then return to your all fours, setting up that tabletop back, shoulder blades abroad, connecting into the waist, the breastbone and the pelvic area. Pick up your weights. If you're using it in the right hand, slide the left leg away. Keep the foot on the floor first of all, so that you level off your pelvis precisely. And you can even reach the right arm forward before you lift. Hold steady, breathe well. Then maybe take the arm out to a T shape. Arm moves back behind you. Maybe you bring the arm to a diagonal. And then keep going. Bring those arm movements maybe 3 times more. Coordinating with breath and balancing. And we're going to stay on all fours when you've completed your balancing. Just maybe reach the left palm a little bit further forward and then slide the right arm through and bring the right side of the head and neck down and ease into twist. So using this left hand, maybe coming into the fingertips and just promoting a little bit more rotation. Deep exhale as you hug the belly muscles in to the spine and then press up, glide out and into your second side of thread knees. The right arm reaches forward. Slide your left arm through, come onto the outer back line of that shoulder, ear comes down, and your elbow of right hand and arm may bend as you rotate a little more or less, and breathe. Press up, and gather your weights, come to high kneeling. Stack the head on top of the shoulders perfectly, level pelvis, and press your arms back. And as you press them back, might be a few times, try not to press back and fold or collapse, so keep the eyes to the horizon. Push the tops of the feet and the shins in, little hug through the gluteals. As you press the arms back, now stay here and pulse. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 3, 2, 1. And again. Pulse for 10, 5. Hold steady, narrow the arms, roll the shoulders down the back. Last set of 10. And then release the arms. Inhale, exhale. Arms by your side. High kneeling. Extend left arm up, overhead if possible. Reach right arm back. Inhale, exhale and swap. So try not to rotate on the Pilates backstroke arms, just keeping everything strong as possible, smooth and aligned. And the moderation, of course, is to have the arms not coming overhead, to be somewhat in this position. Try not to get that, you know, swinging indiscriminately. So controlling the movement of your shoulders and arms using the weights. Let's place the weights beside the mat now and come to sit. Swing your legs forward. You can bring the hands underneath the thighs if you wish to, or you can hold onto the shins. We're going to round the spine. The other thing I personally like to do is actually fold and hold onto the forearms underneath the legs, but you can choose a couple of these. We'll do this maybe 2 or 3 times. So feet are planted, or it could be your heels. Usually the knees are quite bent on this one, so there's a good level of kind of resistance. Strong thighs. Keep control of not over sitting. So you don't want to sit up straight and cause a real rigidity. Just let your spine elegantly come into alignment. Breath in as you expand the ribs. And then exhale, C-shaped curve, and use your arms as that resistance and scoop away, hollow away, pull in both directions, and then relax back. Now, secondary to that, as you fold towards the thighs, and maybe rest the face down a little bit, or take the gaze down, that's obviously just a folding forward without that extra resistance of the arms. Both of these are really helpful to the body, especially the tug of war one, because you get that lovely opening length into the lumbar. You can even interlace, depends how long your arms are, you can interlace the fingers underneath the knees. Inhale to lengthen, exhale, curl pelvis, tailbone draws under. It's like C-shaped curve, you're rolling back, but you're scooping through as you hold on and you pull forward and pull back at the same time. Feel it and then release it. And again, if you wish, you can fold forward, and you can even open up your thighs. The feet are apart, and as you let the thighs fall open and then just tip forward. For some of us, nodding the head out, this is a really relaxing spinal release. So no need to strain on that one, just notice how you respond. And then gather those legs back into center. You can, of course, continue to use your hand weights if you wish to. And we're going to now prioritize a little bit of energy coming into the abdominals and down through the legs. So in your seated, remain connected to that evenness through the sit bones. As you hug the gluteals, they draw towards the heels and you roll back, and maybe you curl back 10-20%, and maybe you move a little further. Remember this lovely centered connection. You can hold onto your thighs, reach your arms forward, or maybe you're holding onto your hand weights, but try not to have shrugging in the shoulders. And then float one of the legs away. Think about whether that leg wants to be a long leg or a bent knee, and then float it down. So the control is from each leg. Strong center, float and float back. And then if you want to sit a bit higher, but you are still in that C-shaped curve, just sit a little bit higher up. So it's a little heel tap, or it could be your whole foot comes down. Yeah, it just depends on where the leg is. And it could even be that the leg lengthens. Fold, lengthen, fold, kiss. Some of you might have found you can curl much further back, but that really requires much more control, especially around that feeling of the sacrum spreading out into the mat, because you've curled back that deeper. Make sure that you are stable. Good to sit, good to reach, good to open, yeah. And then second set, curl it back. Come to that place, maybe 50% of your effort. And then again, we might speed up a little bit. Keep the inner thighs nice and firm. It's like a little walking leg action. Now remember that if today your back is feeling tender or this is causing a problem, you would lay down and you would carry on and use the practice, but you are laying down. So it's a classical heel or toe tap, yeah? So your second set could well be as you were, which was in your low C-shaped curve or your higher C-shaped curve, or it could be that you've chosen to lay down. So remember, keep connected. Everything is floating from the waist down in terms of not trying to be over gripping in those hips. All right. Now, everyone coming to the back body. So you are laying on the back now, and some of us were already there with our toe taps from laying down. Okay. And then interlace the fingers and cradle the head and lay the elbows out. And as you lay the elbows out, press the bones into the mat and then draw in through the ribs, level pelvis. And for a moment, just feel the weight of the body on the mat. Feel the gorgeous nourishment of your breath cycles. And then gaze towards the ceiling. Inhale, press the bones outwards. As you exhale, curl, pick up or lift head, neck, shoulders. Try and draw those shoulder blades up and away. Push the back of the skull, push the head into the nest. Try not to above ground, but be aware of that position of your arms. And steady the body in that position, which is more energy in the upper abdominals, and connect again to that long, heavy sacrum. So we're going to go again into those heel taps. Float the right foot up and away, and then lengthen it down. Float it down, kiss it, and draw it back. Let it float away, kiss, and draw back. You might just want to do 2 on each side. So it's knee fold and then float kiss. Each time you move and float the leg, try and curl your body or lift your body that little bit higher. So checking in with the singles first, then bringing knees above hips, curl a little higher again, and float the leg away. So it's not a single leg stretch, but you're going to try and reach the toe, or I personally prefer the heel, just kissing further away from your midline. Curl a little higher. Keep the breath going. No overarch. So if you need it to be a toe, and the toe kisses nearer to the buttock, that is much easier. So it's less strain, it's still working into control and precision. I'm offering you that level that brings you further away. So there's a little bit of a mix of heel reaching further away for some practitioners, some people it's a toe, or it might be the whole foot lands, but essentially keep it really strong through the midline, curl a little higher. And then you can see your toes above those knees, reach the arms forward, hold the backs of the knees and try and lift yourself up. Bend the elbows if necessary, hollow the belly, hold steady. And then rest. Keep the legs. Inhale, exhale. Arms come above towards the ceiling or a little overhead. Circle the arms, exhale, hold the backs of the knees, lift and curl and scoop. Arms up, inhale, head down. Exhale, circle, hold, lift and scoop. Hold, scoop. Inhale, arms, last one. Exhale, curl, hold and scoop. And then keeping hold of the right leg, let your left leg float down and up. For 5, 4, scoop, 3, hold, 2, lengthen, and 1. Knees in, give yourself a little rock. Knees back into that correct tabletop legs position. Circle out those ankles. Inhale the arms. Exhale, circle, hold, scoop. It's a hollow hold. Holding the left thigh. Let the right leg float down with precision. Up and down. Curl, lift. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And then hold and roll. Roll up. Balance. You might be here with the shins parallel to the mat, or you might be more in a sort of rolling like the ball. Pilates. Scoop the belly. Let the momentum take you back enough to the shoulder blades, roll and scoop. Now, even if your feet come down, just lift them again. Practice boat pose. Scoop through the middle. So this is yoga boat. Or you are finding the momentum comes in as you wait for the core muscles to roll you back and forwards with grace. Or have a play with it. Maybe try 6 or 8. The blanket underneath you might be necessary. I've got to be honest, my blanket's a little bit too extra folded, so it's causing a little bit of a hindrance to rolling like a ball. But I do need that, and you might as well to protect your tailbone. So practicing your roll like a ball, or join me now in a steady boat. And maybe even take the legs apart. So sometimes just opening up the legs can help with a little bit of change or difference, as can crossing the ankles. Reach those arms forward. Steady breath. Breathe in and out, breathe well. And then bring your hands down. Sweep your legs over to the left. Give yourself a little shuffle. Elbow down, right elbow down. And a lovely side opening mermaid. And then lift through and come to the other side. So left hand to the ankle or mat. Reach the right arm overhead. And then sit well. Breathe in, lengthen, and please twist to your left. Turn left. And then sweep round. And lay on your front body, lengthen out your legs. So pull breastbone away from pubis, keep strong and quite intentional about the pelvic floor, and then just float the thighs enough. So reach out through the toes, rather than bringing them super high and creating a crush in your lumbar, low legs, it's just like a lift of the thighs enough around the knee area, and then reach the fingers back towards the heels, and there's a very low lift in the chest and the face. And going back to those pulsing arm presses. So pulse, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 15, 20, spread the hands and fingers. Keep going till you reach 30, long back neck, and then release. And maybe turn to your cheek, let the breath happen. Inhale, exhale, and then a classical strengthener for the back. Bring the arms out in a T shape. Maybe lift the legs just a little higher, but don't strain. Please go to the level you can. Lift the chest, and then lift the arms, spread out. You can even open your legs a little wider, or you can squeeze the legs together. Lift, everything relaxes down. Turn the other cheek, have a rest, and then lift again. Lower, lift everything. Lower, please don't lift the head and look forward. I'm just looking at the screen as if checking all of your practice. Imagining you there, intentional. Hands on the shoulders, press up. Maybe make a little fist, draw the fist near to the knees, and then scoop the tail, rounding the body. And then reaching up to high kneeling and finding a full stretch, even coming into a back bend, opening the front of your body. Lifting and lengthening. So second mermaid, sitting onto your left hip, sweep the legs to the right, left elbow now coming down to the mat. Lovely open space, sort of bending in the torso so that you let your right ribs fly and shine up towards the sky, and then pulling belly in as you resit and curve the other way. So opening up through the left, contracting into the right ribs, and then centering. Gather breath, inhale as you exhale, turn right. And then sit to center and bring the legs in front of you, and we're mat wide on the legs, full elongated legs or bent knees. If you're going for the full firm elongation, point and flex your feet, and maybe even remain in these powerful flexed feet if you can, but prioritize the length of the body. Arms forward, press the palms together and rotate, but please don't bend the elbows and keep those palms together. You can even interlace them. So just warming up with a little bit of spiraling here. And then reach the arms out. Breathe in, tall open space, broad ribs. Exhale, turn left, look left. Breathe into center. Exhale, turn right and look right. Breathe into center. Stay with that practice. Or as you exhale, turn left, reach, rotate the palm, and little cut, extending the right palm across and around that left toe. Flow back, graceful sit. Turn, reach, extend. So resist back with the belly. And it's a little cutting action. This is Pilates, the saw. Turn, extend, and cutting action. Lift open, rotate, extend, cut, cut, cut. Remember that the spiraling of the body is also important. So if you're feeling stiff and you just need to keep this motion happening, then leave out the reach. The reason I say that is because I do see a lot of people, as they reach, they end up collapsing, rounding, and causing a kind of lack of awareness to that practice. Okay, completing the saw, press the feet in, come up to standing. And again, if you want to gather your weights, please do. We'll move back into backstroke arms. So find this action smooth and ready, but add in your knee fold. So coming into the opposite balance. Steady motion as you glide, fold. And then, of course, if it's all going well and you feel okay, go a little faster. The option would also be to use the walking on the spot when you are lifting into those powerfully strong feet. Sliding up the wall. So either of those practices to close today. And then return to standing. Big morning sunrise as you breathe in. Exhale, bring the palms into heart or navel. And thank you for being here.